to actually work on the cover of our book, in so much as I want to get the base cover put on, I want to get the hinges added, and I want to start decorating our pages. And I have already put some hello Sam, I thought you were on holiday. I want to get started with the decorating, because I don't know about you, but I prefer to try and decorate at least with the base sort of papers before I stick things into my book. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. Okay, right. So what I need you to do first of all is to get your base, which we made last week. So here's mine. So it's the chipboard that's got the Tyvek on the other side. Okay. And we're going to be working on this part of the book, which is the Tyvek side up. And you are going to need some double-sided tape. Okay. So what I want us to do to start with is I want you to put your double-sided tape on the outside of your book. Now, I want you to just put it closely all the way along here, except where those folds actually are. You can see we're going to leave those free because we don't really want tape right in the way there. So I'm just going to put some double-sided tape all the way along my book. Doesn't have to be perfect or tidy. We're never going to see it again, so it doesn't matter. And on the Tyvek, but just not where the book folds. Now I can feel that's there, so I'm just going to put that in as a stop there. And I'm going to put my Tyvek on the other side of where the book folds. And that's there. So I'll put some there. And some in between. I know this is going to be a bit difficult to see because I'm working white on white, but I'll show you in a moment once I've got all of these bits done. You off now, Mel? See you later. If anybody's in Staffordshire on Sunday, Mel and I have got another Chase and Maid fair at Brown Hill Station, Chasewater Railway, Heritage Railway in our area. We'll be there from 11 to 7. We do have a gin and Prosecco van, which should make it super exciting for anybody who's coming, plus 40 local handmade crafters. Scrap Lab will be there with a limited shop because I'm not taking it all. But do pop down and see us if you can. Mel will have lots of goodies for sure. Lots of nice Christmas presents for everybody, so do pop down and have a look. Right, okay, so I have now got my Tyvek, but as you can see, I haven't put it where the book actually folds. Okay, now it's going to be 2 pieces of white card that I'm going to use to cover this book. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie it like that. Now you could do it half and half down the spine, but I find that just makes the spine bulky, so I'm actually just going to do mine to there. But we're going to start on this piece over here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take off this double-sided tape. Now I know this takes some people quite a while. I just seem to have a knack for some reason, don't know why, because I haven't got any nails. Oh, hello Mark, I thought you were down at the post office. Oh, Carol, really? Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. Oh, if you can, that would be fantastic. I would love to see you. Mel and I, no, I know you're not here, Mark. You're rarely here when you're here. Mel and I are going to be dressed up. You won't miss us. We'll be the ones in the top hats. But do come, that would be so nice. And there's lots of great things like mulled wine and cake and truffles, and we've got this amazing guy called Mikey who draws caricatures, and Mel and I have had ours done. I must show you actually sometime. They are really excellent. But that would be so lovely if you can make it. Really love to meet you. So yes, do do pop in if you can. Right. Now, I'm not going to take every bit of this double-sided tape off. I can hear a cat. Oh, Storm is sitting on my bag again. But I'm going to take up to about there, I think. Oh, last piece doesn't want to come, typical. Okay, now I've got a piece of my card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line my book on top of the card. Like that. Just turn it over and make sure, yep, that's not too bad. And just make sure that that's stuck down. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the rest of the double-sided tape. It's very quiet here without Mark, isn't it? Mind you, he can't sit down anywhere because I've got stuff all over his chair. Right, little tip. We're going to want a really, really good sort of stick between these two pieces of card. So what I do is I simply put some more double-sided tape, and I'll show you as soon as I've done this, right up to the edge of this piece of card here, like that. I'm going to take that and I'm going to lie this down sticky side up, and then I'm going to put this on top there where I want it to stick. Now, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, although it does help a little bit. And I'm going to stick that down like that. And that bit of double-sided tape there just makes sure that we've got a really nice stuck down edge there. Okay. Right, now obviously the piece that I've got here is far too long, so I'm just going to get my scissors and I'm just going to trim that off. I've probably got somewhere between 1 inch and ½ an inch all the way round. Okay. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to fold these over. Now, I don't mitre my corners close up to the edge. I do it part of the way. So it's like that. And I'm going to start by doing these two edges first of all. Now, paper, as you know, I've said this before, is made out of fibres. So what we need to do is train the fibres to go into the way, hi Sarah, to go the way that we need them to. So gently does it to start with. So the way that I do it is I just train my card to go round, because what we want here is a really sharp crease. So I'm just going to train the card to go over. That's part folded there. And then I'm going to get my bone folder, which I'd taken to crop, which is why I couldn't find it. And I'm just going to make sure that I've got a really, really tight, sharp crease there. Now I'm going to glue that down. Now, I still believe that wet glue is the way to go, but wet glue takes time to stick. So I'm just going to get a little piece of double-sided tape. I'm just going to stick that there. And now I'm going to put some glue, which I topped up miraculously this week, along there. And I'm going to fold that over and make sure that that sticks down really well. Okay, And I'm going to do exactly the same at the other side. So I'm going to train my paper. And I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to use my bone folder just to get it into the right corners. Okay. I'm just going to put a little bit of double-sided tape on. There's no need to rush this bit because what we really want are some really sharp edges. There's no rush. We've got time. We've even got a cup of tea. It's just out of shot. Amazing I haven't spilt it yet. Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to glue that down there. Okay, so those are the two end bits of my book done, and if I turn it over you can see that I've got some nice sharp edges there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do these long ones. Now these really do need training. Now as you can see, I've already started to get my corners nice and creased here, because this is always the bit that is tricky. And I'm just going to train that card over. Now obviously what we want are some good sharp corners here, and if we don't get them, because that's just ever so slightly out of line, all I do is I just move that in a tiny bit, that edge there, flatten it with my bone folder, and now it fits. Okay, so just going to make sure that fits nicely. I'm going to turn this around. I think this is the joys of working upside down or being left-handed. I'm not quite sure which it is. Hi Holly, hi Sarah. Oh, Mark's back. Is it a big parcel? Is it a big parcel? Oh, good. I think I know what it is. I like parcels. You feeling better, Sarah? Oh, it'll teach me to be rough and just pull the end off it. Oh, it's because it's here. That's the empty one. Right, so when you put glue on this one, make sure that you've got plenty of glue in the corners. And then all the way around your tape. Now, just moving ahead slightly, once we've put this on, we're going to put our hinges on. But I don't want you to try and fold it into a book shape right at this moment, okay? We need to give it a little bit of time to settle into having a cover. Yeah, glue on my fingers. It's not big. Is it full of little round things? Oh, I made a bright pig's ear of that. Not happy with that edge. Might have to trim that in a minute. This is the only trouble with using white card, is that I've been inking the edges of stuff and now I've got brown ink everywhere. Just move stuff so my Lord and Master can sit down.
What, Loki?
No, you. Oh. Oh, it is what I thought. Oh, good. Oops, that's everything on the floor. Luckily not my cup of tea. Right. Oh, thank you, dear. Oh, happy now. Right, and we're going to do exactly the same to the other side. So we're just going to train that card around. And just persuade it where it wants to lie. I'm just going to fold these corners in a little bit. Okay. Quite what I've done to that bit of card. Could you cut all those up for me, please? I'll put you a thingy. Right, little bit of double-sided tape. And some glue. Okay, so that's my cover on, and you can see when you turn it over that mostly I've got quite sharp corners and such like on that, so I'm just going to put that to one side for a second and have a bit of my tea, which is now cold. Right, the next thing that I want us to do is get our hinge, which should have dried really nicely now. So we've got a hinge system with 4 hinges on it, and what I want to do before we stick it down, just because it's marginally easier, is I just want us just to trim those corners off. So I'm just mitering the corners on my hinge system. So this is where the hinges are stuck together. I'm just putting a little corner on them up to the score line. I'm hoping you can see that. And I'm going to do that with all 4 of the hinges. Oh, what's calling me tea? Okay. Right, now, the middle of my book. Right, the spine is 2.5 inches, which means the middle is going to be 1.25 inches. So that's going to be there. I'm just going to make a little mark just so I can see roughly where that is. And I might just put a very light one there because I can always use an eraser after. And of course I know that the middle of this is in the middle of my middle 2 hinges. So what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this down to the spine whilst it's still flat, right in the middle, lining up top to bottom our hinge. So it's going to be aligned right in the middle, side to side of the book, and also top to bottom. Now, I cannot tell you how important it is that we get this stuck down really, really well. We need to make sure that these bits of our hinge especially are totally and utterly stuck to the spine of our book. So once again, I'm just going to put some little pieces of double-sided tape there, just so that it holds it in place while it dries. I'm going to put 3 across those hinges like that. And I'm just going to put 1 at each side. Okay. And I think probably next I'm actually going to resort to the big bottle of glue, because we have to just make sure that this is spot on. Now we want to put plenty of glue on this. When I say plenty, I don't mean the equivalent of a 5-year-old's plenty, because that's the whole bottle, which isn't a good thing. But we need to make sure that we get it completely around these hinge bits here. So important. Okay. And now I'm going to just glue that to the spine of my book. So I'm going to make sure that it's lined up top to bottom and side to side. I'm just going to hold that up so I can see. Yeah, apart from the fact it's not straight. Yeah, that looks good. And I am going to just glue that down. Now, this is another time when our trusty bone folder comes in useful, because we need to make sure that this is totally and utterly stuck. Oh, I'm getting glue on my hands. Oh, I can't bear it. Ugh. Right. Some crafter I am. I need you to go into these gussets and make sure that they are absolutely stuck down perfectly to the spine of the book. That is so, so important. Okay. Right, and I'm going to keep going backwards and forwards to that and just making sure that that is stuck perfectly. I'm going to put that to one side for now. I don't propose to actually put the pages in our book tonight. I think I'd rather just leave that overnight to dry. So if we come back perhaps next Wednesday, which will be what, the 27th, I presume? Is it? Yeah. It'll actually only be fairly quick popping our pages in. Oh, I don't know, it might be better to do it before. Anyway, I'll have a think about when we put the pages in. I might just do a quick video for you and show you how to do that. And then we can get on with decorating the cover. Now, I don't know how you've done your pages. As you remember, last week we had the opportunity to make 2 different pages. We had the one with the belly band and the stack pocket, and we had the one that's got the flaps and the pockets on that. Now, I've already taken the opportunity of starting to mat and decorate mine. Now I've used a completely different paper because I just want to show you how versatile this book, and I will say that these papers that I'm using, my lovely husband bought for me probably somewhere in the region of about 4 years ago, and I've never used them because they were too nice, and I just thought, how ridiculous is that? And it's some Bow Bunny Winter Wishes paper, I think it is, that I'm going to use. So I've just started to roughly decorate those. Now in the group I've already put you some sizes of suggested mat sizes, so you can you know, that'll just make it a bit easier, but we'll go over that and do some more now. So I've just started to mat this one. This is the one with the flat pocket, so we've got a pocket here. I've matted those two, and then that's the pocket inside. I haven't done much decoration yet, I've simply just matted those, and then I've started to mat that, and that's about as far as I got with that one. Obviously I've got this one to mat too, and I have got these to mat. So what I would suggest now we do is at least start to decorate those 4, because I want to get those 4 pages decorated, or at least matted, before we actually start to stick them in the book. So I've already put some sizes up for you, but as far as I can remember off the top of my head, this is 6 1/8 of an inch high. So I've cut my paper 6 inches from top to bottom, and that is 4 inches. So I have cut my paper at 3 7/8 of an inch to fit on there. Now obviously if you've got your pocket, you need to cut that down. But if you're just going to mat them like that, each of these is 6 by 3 7/8 of an inch, and this one, as I recall, is 6 by, well, that area is 6 by 6, so that's 6 by, I can't even remember what that width was, 6 by 2 5/8 of an inch. Is there anybody here who works in centimetres?
Yeah.
Apart from you?
I'll do both.
Right, so I've given you some sizes for this one. I've given you some sizes for this in the group. And that's your homework. So before we next get together, I want you to have decorated all 4 of those. Now I've put some ink around the edges of my papers. It's entirely up to you whether you choose to do that. But I'll just show you. I have put some pictures in the group, but I'll put some more up so that anybody who is doing this version of the book, the Peaches and Cream, will be able to see exactly how I've done it. So this is the flat page. As you can see, I've been fairly careful with my papers and how much I've used. For instance, here I didn't quite have enough of the feathers paper, and I wanted to make sure that it flowed all the way, across the pages. So I had a little bit of this paper that I've used on the front here left over, so I used that just as a sort of a special focal point on the bottom of there. Over here, once again, I have just I've fussy cut. I mean, this is decoration, but I've fussy cut some of the flowers and just popped one of those cut parts in there. But everything is matted quite simply on this book. We will come to tags in a minute, but here I've matted this quite simply. But in places you'll see that what I've actually done is use some of the gold mirror card which is in your kit, where I can, to just add a little bit of added interest. When we come to do these, which we'll do in a moment, these bits, as you can see, I've actually used some mirror card in there. There's a little pocket here in this bit, and then I've matted the back as well. But we will make those up in a moment. That'll be one of the other things that we do tonight, and we will cut out all of our tags. Now you will notice as well that there are tags that go between each of the pages here in our book, and we'll cut those out tonight as well. I've rounded the corners on those. That's entirely up to you whether or not you want to do that. So I want to cut out our tags. I want to cut out these bits that go in the belly band bit of the book. And I would like, if possible, for us to actually cut out these bits as well, which attach to the inside and outside cover of our books. So without further ado, I'm just going to find my cutting guide, which I put safe here from last week, and we will get cutting. So I'm going to need you to get some of your white card, and I'm going to need you to get your trimmer. Have you done with my trimmer?
Yeah.
Thank you, darling. Right, Mark has cut out all of the names. Do you want to fold them up and put them in something? I don't know what though. Oh, well, you don't have to fold them up. We just need to find something to put them in, which might be easier said than done. Oh, I know, put them in here. Hang on. Look at these, all left over from another class. That was our selfie page. Right. Okay. Right, so let's get going. We have got for our page A, we have made our page up. We've made our flat pockets. We want to have some tags. So on your base card, I'm using white. You might have chosen to do your book in black or whatever colour. I am going to cut 4 tags at 5 3/4 inches square. So that's 5 3/4 inches square. Now I'm just going to check because I think yeah, these are the ones that go in between our pages here. So we need 4 of those. So 4 at 5 3/4 inches square. And like I said, these are the tags to go in between each of our pages once we've actually stuck them into our book. I will round the corners of those in due course, but what we have cut out is these. And as you can see, because I was trying to save on some paper, I actually only put pattern paper on the outside of that so that this whole area here I can use for photographs. Okay, so that's that. Those are 5 3/4 inches square. So we'll put those to one side. And now we're going to cut out 4 that are 3.5 by 5 1/4 inches. So five and a half by 3.5 by 5 1/4 inches, and you want 4 of those. Okay, so there's 4 of those. Then we need to cut out 4 to go inside, which is 5 3/4 inches. Now, if you're going to, these ones that go in between, If you want to actually cut tabs into them so that they look like file folders, you'll need to cut them slightly differently. You'll have to cut them at 5 3/4 by 5 7/8 just to cut your tab in. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with the 5 3/4 all the way. So I'm going to need another 4 of those. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, for example, on this page here that I've already cut my, started to decorate. I'm going to have a big tag that goes in there. I'm going to have a little tag that goes in there. And I'm going to have that tag with cat hair that goes in there like that. So I'm going to have a tag that goes in there and a tag that goes in there. Obviously, if you want to make some more tags and put different sized ones in, absolutely go for it. You can put as many tags in as will fit. And I'm just going to pop these in here as well. And I'll come to decorate those in due course. And I'm just going to pop that one in there so that I don't lose it, because you all know how incredibly forgetful I can be. Hi, Tilly. And then I have got 2 left to put in with these, and I'm just going to pop them there until I've decorated them so I don't lose them. Okay. Right. So, as far as tags go that I'm going to make, those 2 flappy, pockety pages, page A, they're done. So I'm going to put those to one side, and I'm just going to finish decorating those. And now I'm going to make the tags to go in these stack pockets here. So we need to get some more card. And we need to cut these. We need 2 that are 5.5 by 5.5. This is, of course, assuming that you've made the same number, the same sort of way of number of pockets. I've got two A's and 2 B's. This is obviously if you've done the same. And this one will go into the long pocket there, like that. And now we need to cut one to go into there. And the size of that is going to be 4 by 5.5 inches. That sounds a bit big to me, but never mind, that's what I've put. Oh no. And I'm going to need 2 of those. So that's 4 by 5.5 inches. And that's going to go in that pocket and in that pocket. Okay, and I'm going to go off and mat those. Right, now what we've got to do is make the thing that fits inside our belly band. Okay, so to make that, we need to cut, because I'm going to have 2. So I'm going to cut 2 at 11.5 by 5 3/4 inches. So let's just go for 11.5 first. Okay, remember I'm just using an ordinary size A4 here. So that's 11.5 by 5 3/4 inches. And I'm going to need 2 of those. So that's 11.5 by 5 3/4 inches. Now before we score those, we're going to cut out our inside pockets as well for this. So you'll see on this little pull out bit here, there is a little pocket. So we're going to cut those out as well, because we need to score those too. So each of those is to cut at 5.5 by 5.5 inches. That sounded cat-like and it didn't sound good. So 5.5 by 5.5 inches. Okay. Now I want you to get your scoreboard, and I want you to take the larger piece, which is 11.5 by 5 3/4 inches, and I want you to score on the 11.5 inch side, which of course is the long side, at 5 3/4 inches. So you're scoring it right down the middle, and I want you to do that on both. So you're going to score right down the middle at 5 3/4 inches. Then you're going to take each corner pocket and you're going to score at 1/2 inch on 2 sides so that those score lines intersect. Okay, so you've got a score line down here and a score line down there. That's all you need to do, and I want you to do that on both pieces. So score at 1/2 inch, turn your card 90 degrees and score again at 1/2 inch. Okay, right, then what we're going to do is we're going to take these long pieces and we are going to fold them in half, just like a card. Okay, and I'm going to use my bone folder because I can, and I found it, just to make sure that that's a really good crease. Okay, so this little booklet is going to slip under our belly band like that. Okay, and then we can just pull it out when we need to look at what's on it. But to add a bit of interest, I want to add a little pocket here. This is obviously totally and utterly up to you. You might decide that you don't want to have, you just want it as it is, and that's absolutely fine. But for those of you that do want to put a little corner pocket on, I will show you how to do that. Right. Okay. Right, corner pocket. The first thing that we're going to do is mitre our corner, and you know that I do like, what is it Mel calls it, a kinky mitre, so that I'm not doing it straight across. It's got a bit of a bend on it. But a pocket just like that, a square pocket, is kind of boring. So what I want to do is I want to make it a little bit more interesting by cutting that edge off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my ruler. I don't know where my short one is, so I'm using a long one. Isn't that always the way? And I am going to measure, here are my score lines. I don't know if you can see those. I am going to measure up 1 inch from that score line. So 1.5 inches basically from the bottom there. And I'm going to do the same over here. So I've made 2 marks. Here are my score line down there and down there. I've measured up 1 inch from that score line and 1 inch from that score line. And I'm going to do that on both pieces. Okay, now I'm going to get my trimmer because it's making it easy. And I'm going to use my trimmer to join up those 2 marks there that I've made with my pencil. And I'm going to cut that straight across like that. And I'm going to do that with both pieces. So I'm going to line up those 2 pencil marks that I made. And I'm going to cut that corner off. Okay. Now I'm going to fold these up just like they're a normal pocket. And I'm just going to mitre those corners as well. So as you can see on the flap here, I've just taken a little bit off up to the score line there. It won't show if you don't do this, but it just makes it that tiny bit easier to manoeuvre. Okay, right. So I'm just going to make sure I've got some good creases on that. And I'm going to glue that now to my card. So this first card is going to open up like this. This bit is the bit that's going to go onto the belly band. So I'm going to put my pocket here because we don't want it interfering with the belly band. So I'm just going to get my glue. And I'm going to attach my pocket. I put the glue there on the flaps and I'm going to attach that flush to the left hand side inside of my card. And I'm going to glue that down. And it really is as simple as that. That's all we're going to do to that piece. So now I can put that through my belly band there. And I've got my pull out piece. And I'm going to do that to my other one. But bear in mind, it might be on the other side. So for instance, I know that my belly band, the way that I'm going to put it into my book, so you might have to think about this, is going to go in that way. So I'm going to put my pocket on the right hand side inside bit of my card. You just need to think about how you're going to put your book together before you decide which way you're gluing these in. Just something to bear in mind before you settle on a side. Because they're square, it actually doesn't matter. It'll fit either way. Okay. Right. Now you might want to cut out some tags to go in here. I don't know if I've actually given a size for those or not. I possibly did. No, not particularly. But you can put something in there. It looks like 3.5 inches square is a good size. You know, you can work that out. So as far as that bit is concerned, that's all ready to go. All I need to do is decorate that before I put it into my book. But before I go tonight, the last thing I want to do is actually look at our inside covers here. Now this, I'm pretty certain, has stuck fairly well. But I want to make sure that we've got our flaps here, which are these bits that open out here like that, and we've got a little pocket inside there as well. Okay, and we've got a little pocket on the outside bit as well. So we're going to do those before we go tonight. So let me just grab my cutting guide, my card and my trimmer, and we will cut those out. So I need to cut one for each side, which is 2 in total. I need to cut 2 pieces at 6.5 inches square. I think I'm only going to get one out of each sheet here, so that's 6.5 inches square. One for the back and one for the front. Okay, so those are our flappy bits, but now we need to cut out our pockets. So we need to cut 4 pockets that are 7.5 inches by 3 inches. So have a look at the bits of card that you've got left and cut out 4 at 7.5 by 3 inches. Let's see what I've got. Not a lot. So that's 7.5 by 3 inches, and I need 4 of those in total. Okay, right, once we've got those, put the trimmer to one side and get out your scoreboard again. And I want us to get the larger pieces, which are 6.5 inches square. And I want us to score on any side, because it is a square, at 1/2 inch. So it doesn't matter which side you're scoring on, so long as it's one of them.
Terry says hi.
Hi Terry, when's your class at Michael's? Have you done it yet? Put my glasses on so I can see. You did? What time is it with you, Terry? Oh, hi Rizwana, I didn't see you either. Hello, lovely. Okay, so we've scored on one side at 1/2 inch. That's all we need to do for that, okay? Now we've got our other 4 pieces, which are 7.5 by 3 inches. So I want you to score first of all on the 7.5 inch side. I want you to score at 1/2 inch, and I want you to score at 7 inches, and I want you to flip it 90 degrees and score at 1/2 inch on the 3 inch side. So as you can see, this is one of our very normal pockets. Wow, did your classes go well, Terry? 2 in a week, that's quite impressive. Terry teaches mini books, everybody. You need to go and have a look at her Facebook page, which is, remind me, Terry, the Year collection. Have I said that right? Beautiful little books. Anyway, you need to all go and have a look. Very talented lady. So we're going to score on all 4 of those pockets at 1/2 inch and at 7 inches on the 7.5 inch side. We're then going to flip it 90 degrees and we're going to score at 1/2 inch on the 3-inch side. And we're going to do that to all 4 of our pockets. Okay. Oh, yes, I'm doing a craft fair this weekend. How did yours go? I'd say come to ours, but it might be a bit of a long way. Right, we're going to take those flappy things for the inside covers, and we're just going to fold on the score line there. Now, I liked it on mine where I used my corner rounder, so I'm going to do that now, and it will become clear why in a moment. So first thing is I have to find it. I hope you all realise how organised I am this week. I'm just going to round those corners. Okay, I'm just going to fold it back. Okay, so there's my page and I've got my rounded corner. Okay, now for the pockets, we've done these before, you know how to do it. We're going to miter the corners into where the score lines intersect and just cut that there. And we're going to do that for all 4. Terry, put a link up to your page and people can go and have a look. Or actually, Mark could probably find it for you. Oh, he already has. Have you already done it for me? Have you popped it up there?
Yeah.
Thank you, darling. Right, we're going to start by taking 2 of these pockets, and we're just going to fold it the same way we always do. Right, now what I'm going to do now is I am going to glue this pocket, pardon me, onto the front of my flap. So this bit here, okay, you can see. But here I've actually I've left about 1/2 inch or so that the pocket isn't all the way flush to the edge of the flap. It's actually at one end, slightly in, about 1/2 inch or so. Lost my glue. I think this is it. And I'm just going to glue that in now, but as you can see, I'm leaving about 1/2 inch because it looks pretty, and that's the only reason. There is no reason for this at all. If you wanted to, and just bear in mind as well that the pocket is facing towards where the flap is, okay? If you want to put a pocket on that side, you absolutely can do. It's entirely up to you, okay? And then what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to get my book here, and I think this is dry enough now for me very, very, very carefully. This bit always scares me. To fold. Where's my bend? Yeah, to fold this back up into. If you do it too soon after you've glued it, it won't work. Everything will come unglued. So I get a bit nervous doing this, but do it slowly and do it gently, because if you do it too quickly, you run the risk of tearing your paper, or, you know, everything just being all lumpy. Okay. So that seems roughly to have stuck, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Yeah, okay. And now I've just got to tease it into position. Don't rush this bit. Do it gently, do it carefully. Okay, because we don't want our paper to rip. Right, that will take time to get into the correct position, but we'll leave it to do that in a moment. Okay, so my book is now a book. So I've got the page that I've just made, this one here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach that there to my book. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue on the flap, and I'm just going to attach that right flush to the edge, but I'm going to centre it. It is slightly shorter than the book because we don't want things to catch, but that is now glued on. So when I open my book, I've got my flap here. Okay, now we've obviously got 4 pockets because one of the other pockets goes inside that flap there. Now, I have said if you want to put a pocket or something on there, maybe like the ones that we put on the inside of the belly band book, we can do that. It's entirely up to you. You know how to make pockets. They're dead simple. You can do that. Okay, so now I'm just going to attach my pocket to the book. So because I've folded it into shape, I know where the edge of my spine is. I can see that, and I want to attach my pocket slightly to the left. Okay, and I'm going to glue that down. So centre it top to bottom and just about 1/8 of an inch away from where my spine folds, so that when I fold that up, I'm going to be able to see a bit of my pocket here. And I think that if you're using different papers and you get that flow across there, it looks really pretty. And I'm going to do exactly the same over here. So I have got, I've lost it. I've got my flap, which is going to go here with the pocket on it there. And then I've got my other pocket to go there. So I'm just going to do that now. And then I think that will do for tonight. Because I need to make sure that you've all got your pages decorated before we come to stick them into our books. Okay, so that's your homework. Your homework is decorate up your pages. You don't have to put all the embellishments and everything on it at this stage. We just need to get the base papers on so that we're not faffing about and fiddling and trying to get it all done when we've already got the pages in the book. I know not every book works like that, but it is quite good on this one to get that done first. Okay, so Mark, please will you find a link to my website where I talk about crafting after dark. If anybody's interested, I've added a 3rd retreat on for 2020. It will be over Halloween weekend, which is the Friday the 30th of October to Sunday the 1st of November. And we are going to have a weekend together at the magnificent Walton Hall Hotel and Spa in Warwickshire, just near Stratford. You can come and you can do your own projects, or you can come along and you can make a mini book with me. Now the mini book that we're going to be making is going to be a little bit different from the sorts of things that I usually do with you. So I like pretty girly floral papers, but I'm looking very much more at Tim Holtz, and especially the Halloween range. So it's going to be a little bit darker than the stuff that I normally do. It's probably a lot more like what I would do for myself. At the moment it's a paper bag book with some handmade papers and all sorts of things in it. But so that's optional. You can just come along and do your own project if you wish. And that's taking place next October. But more information is Mark's just putting up some info on that. So we've got the 3 retreats next year, one of which has got the waiting list, which is the other October retreat. But we do still have some spaces left on the International Scrapbook Day scrapbooking retreat in May. So if you need any more information about that, do just give me a shout, because I'd be more than happy to chat to you about what's going to happen. Just had delivery of the first lot of papers, which I'll show you in a tick for that. So I've got my pocket here pointing outwards like that, so that I can easily get my tags in and out. And now I've got the inside of my book done, and now I can just decorate that. And I'm going to try and persuade it to stay closed. And I might just put some... oh yeah, I've got to do the drawer, haven't I? I might just do some... put some clips on those whilst they're drying. So I'm just going to quickly show you some of the papers for International Scrapbook Day that have arrived this week, because I think they're really exciting. And this is a kit for just one layout, because I do believe that you know, value for money is quite an important thing. I've wrecked these already. So these are one set of papers. They're called Nautical Graphic. They're brand new from a Ukrainian company called Scrapmere. We've got a set of 12 by 12 papers, 10 12 by 12 papers. We have got a pack of their die cuts, and a pack, which I've already wrecked, of the chipboards. And I will be doing a layout with these to show you in due course. But I just want you to know that if you do come on the International Scrapbook weekend, I'm not going to scrimp on kits. You're going to get full packs of stuff. So that's me done. The last thing that I want to do before we go is the draw for my Christmas book. So Mark has very kindly...
You've got to delve in.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'm going to get you to do it. He's put everybody who commented has put their name. I've printed it out, and your name is all in here. No, I didn't put yours in.
I have.
You have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Mark to. Do you want to close your eyes and pull somebody's name out, and let's see who's won. Okay, thank you very much. The winner is Sharon Rees. Sharon, if you could message me your address, I will pop that into the post for you as soon as possible. And there is a second prize. I know I didn't talk about it before, but there is a lady who has written something on the, you know, as I said, just comment for... to go in to the draw. And there is a lady who wrote a little poem. Lynn Kelsall, was it Lynn? Wrote the poem? I think it was. Lynn, please will you also send me your address, because I want to send you a little something as well, because it made me laugh out loud. So guys, thank you so much for taking part. As I said, the winner of my little Christmas book is Sharon Rees, and I will put that up in the group. And then Lynn Kelsall, please can you also let me have your address, because I've got something I'd like to send you, just for giving me a good old belly laugh. Right, thank you everybody very much for taking part. It's much appreciated. If you want to know anything, you get stuck, let me know. Show me what you're up to on the group, because I just love seeing it, as you know. And I will see you all really soon. So thank you for joining me. Thank you, Terry, for joining all the way from Florida. And I will see you guys all soon. So well done, Sharon.
Bye.